Hello YouTube, I'm getting ready to make some cassava pone, and before we start I wanted to show you that I have the oven at 375, and that's because the oven leaks a little bit and it's an electric oven, so it loses a little bit of the see how it's not lined up. I have sprayed the pans that they're going to go into, and over here I have peeled a little piece of the ginger. I have 32 ounces of already grated cassava, 16 ounces of the grated coconut. I'm going to put 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup white sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Sorry, I don't have the fresh, and some coconut milk. What I'm going to do is put everything in the blender, and I'm going to start with the brown sugar and the milk first so that it can break down, and then I'll add the grated coconut and cassava. I'll be right back. Okay, I have the coconut cream. This is not milk, this is cream. It says milk, but okay, well, sorry. I thought I had picked up cream, and then when I looked at it, it's mighty thick. So I will put most of this in there. I'm going to hold back about 3 ounces or so, just to make sure I don't make it too watery. I don't put regular milk in my dish because I want to make it vegan. See how gloppy it is? I'm going to hold back about that much. And it is about up to about where my finger is. I just wanted to show you that. I'll be back. Alright, I've got the blender going just to break down the sugar and the milk so it is smooth. That's good enough. And then I can pour most of that out into a bowl. I don't even have my bowl ready. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to pour most of it in the bowl, and what I'm going to actually end up doing with it is putting the grated cassava and the coconut in the blender. So I keep back some of it in the blender. All of that sugar. That's how thick that is. One of these days I'm going to get me a tripod so I can video with 2 hands. So I'm going to open up these bags and put them in the blender. Okay, so I left some of the liquid in the bottom. I put the cassava. I put some more liquid in the middle, and then I put the coconut on top. I left some of the coconut in the container, so it's not quite the whole 16 ounces. I want to see how it looks first before I put the rest in there. This is the damper for the Vitamix. I'm gonna put this on slow. Make sure my top gets put back. My keys for what?
The car.
Okay, so I don't want it to be like liquidy. Just want it blended up a little bit, and I didn't want to blend too much myself. So I'm gonna see, it's really thick. And now it's time to put the grease in it. I put coconut oil in mine's, not butter. So mine's will taste a lot different than most people's. I'm going to scrape the rest of that out of there and put my coconut oil in there. Then I'll put my nutmeg and the cinnamon. Then it'll be ready to bake. I bake it, sometimes I can bake it for an hour. Sometimes I have to bake it for an hour and a half. It depends on the size of the container. And this is a small batch, so I hope it doesn't take more than an hour and a half, because I'm going to try to split them into two of the containers. It's such a small batch, so I normally make a big pan for holidays, but holidays are over. I don't have a lot of people eating this, but me and my daughter, and I make share with someone else. Send some with her dad when he comes over. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I found a way to prop up the camera, the phone. I'm going to put a tablespoon of coconut. No, sorry, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I've melted it in the microwave. Set that aside. And then I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, let me do the powder stuff. I'm going to put a teaspoon of the nutmeg. Again, sorry I don't have fresh. A teaspoon of the cinnamon. Teaspoon of the vanilla. If you like mixed essence in yours, it does give it a better flavor than just regular vanilla. And then I also add black pepper. To me, I like the flavor of the black pepper mixed with the ginger and the Casava Pone. And what we're going to do is mix this up. Trying to see if you can see it without spilling it. I'm going to get this mixed and then show you. The brown sugar and all of the dark flavors in here gives it a great color. I like mine's a little darker, so I use the brown sugar instead of just regular white sugar. Some people like just white sugar, but I put more sugar than the average person because I like mine's extra sweet. I don't put any flour in it. There's no need for the flour. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself with no flour in it. I don't put any baking soda in it. This is such a dense, rich recipe. There's no reason for baking powder in it. There's no flour in it to rise. And even if you put baking powder in it, this heavy cassava is not going to rise with a little bit of baking soda. Sorry, I've been baking a long time and I never really understood the reason for it. And I like mine's extra gloppy. So maybe the flour and the baking soda is to make it kind of fluffy or something. I'm not really sure. But again, I like mine's really thick. See, this is not runny at all. No extra water needed in this recipe. If you want to make it a little soupier, you can put the rest of the coconut milk in there. And again, I like the thick brand. This is really thick. I thought this was cream because it is rather thick, and it's not thin at all. See how thick it is? And it cuts down on how much grease you have to use. Well, butter. Again, I don't use butter. I think I see a piece of ginger. I put my ginger in the blender with the sugar and the milk at the same time. And if you want, you could also add the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the pepper, and the vanilla in with your sugar and stuff. I just like to see the difference of the color in case I need to add more cinnamon and nutmeg. Sometimes I add more nutmeg. I really do like the flavor of nutmeg. So what we're going to do is, let's see if I can prop this up again. Okay. We're going to put these in the pans. And this batch is enough for 2 of these pans. Depending on how thick you want yours, you can put it in one bigger pan, like 1/2 pan. These are the, I forgot the size. This is the 8x8 square pan. So if you want to use like a 9x13, this will be great for that size. This one batch instead of splitting it up. I think that's enough for this one. You can slap it down like that. Get the next pan. Oh, and I want to show you how much I scraped out of that blender. I don't leave any waste behind. I get all of that in there. take your knife. Okay, let me show you the two pans together. It wasn't even. I took some out of that one. If you're going to have two pans in the oven at the same time, you kind of want them even so that they can bake at the same time. Let's compare these side by side. My daughter just loves these. A little bit more. All right. Let me show you the blender so you can see that I don't play when it comes to getting everything out. I love these spatulas, silicone spatulas. So here is the blender, there's the bowl and the knife and everything that needs to be washed now. Put that in the sink and you can see the pans. We're going to put them in the oven. The oven is just waiting. Get this flat down. Okay. Now we're going to bake that again at 375. If your oven don't have any problems, you can bake it at 350. Hopefully it won't be in there more than an hour, but between an hour to hour and a half. All right, we'll come back when it's done. Outside. Okay, it's been an hour and you can see the rise. I'm checking now. No shaking. When it's done, if you want a little more color, you can leave it for a little while more. I'll leave it for another 15 minutes. Okay, we took it out the oven and it feels firm. It's definitely not shaky.
The oven does close, but I'll leave it there. Okay. Okay. What? No.
All right, that will cool off.
No.
Then I will cut it later.
I will hang up.